shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we rise. It is time we lead ourselves into the west. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Boise Unitarian Universalist Fellowship's Zoom service. We're so glad that you could join us this morning. Whether you are joining us from the comfort of your couch, your bedroom, your home office, from down the street, another state, or further flung than that, we are so glad that you are with us. You are welcome here. Whatever faiths you have known, if any, you are welcome with us. Whoever you are and however you identify, you are welcome with us. Whoever you love and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome with us. Today, we are honoring our earth with our worship leader, Mary Beth Bullen, our ministerial intern. We've been so blessed to have Mary Beth with us these many months, and it is hard to acknowledge that her time with us is really drawing to a close. We have missed her physical presence here in the office. Just right around the time of the shutdown, she had scheduled a much-needed vacation to California. And when everything really started shutting down, she elected to go ahead and go and to keep open her return. So she is still out in California where she has visited with a friend and now is with her family and her son Finn. And so we do miss her dearly, but the beauty of technology is that she is able to do her work from a distance and to continue to be with us and be with the folks at Magic Valley, lead worship and small groups, and so we're grateful that her presence with us continues. Mary Beth's final Sunday with us will be on May 31st. We have as big a celebration planned as we can do in a virtual space, but today we all recognize was really her last opportunity to offer a sermon and lead a full worship service. And so we're really delighted to be worshiping with her this morning. For the first ever intern that this congregation has ever had, we got very lucky. And Mary Beth, we have been so blessed by your presence among us. So we look forward to worshiping with you this morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Sarah. It's wonderful to still be with you all virtually. Greetings from the beautiful Central Coast of California. This morning, we are honoring our Earth, kicking off Earth Month 2020, prepared for us by our fantastic climate action team to inspire us to become healers of this great planet. And this morning's worship has been created by a wonderful team as well, including Reverend Sarah, Jem with the Time for All Ages, a reflection from Tom Van Alten of the CAT, music by Corey and Emily Strop, and hymns with videos prepared by Jim and Jean Strafty, and tech support from Rachel Strong. Thank you so much, Rachel. We couldn't do it without you. I'm so grateful for everyone who is leading and for all of you zooming in and participating in this community from your homes. We are gathering together this morning to sink deeply into our gratitude for this amazing and beautiful globe that supports us, and to ask ourselves again, what must we do? What must we do in our present situation when so much needs to change? when there is so much death, when so much needs to heal. I believe that this great earth is imbued with a transformative healing energy that is far beyond what any one of us can control. It's an energy we witness. It's an energy that we participate in. It's an energy that compassionately envelops us. As I have been practicing connecting with this healing energy on a daily basis, I have found for myself 3 invitations that come out of the qualities of this healing energy that I have come to know. This morning, I want to share with you these 3 invitations, if you find them inspiring, so that you may join me in pondering these things deeply. As you go about signing petitions, writing letters, conserving energy, and choosing how to invest your money and your time, all for the healing of the earth. These are my invitations. First, to treat everything and everyone, alive or not, with reverence, for they all contain seeds of great goodness. Second, to not be afraid. The healing energy that transforms the world will never die. And third, to not seek to control the outcome of your healing action, for that divine power is wild, and the small things that we do bear fruit in ways that we will never know.
Let's stop before it gets too late, or is it already too late? Is it already too late for the victims of comfort? Got no one else to blame, just the victims of comfort. Connoisseurs of pain. Technological merry-go-round, dangerous solutions buried under the ground, and everyone likes a party, no one wants to clean. Well, I'd like to see it change somehow, but I'm a little busy right now, just a little busy right now, just a victim of comfort. Got no one else to blame, just a victim of comfort, crying shame. Boy, what have we got to lose? Everything. Yes, what do we stand to gain? Everything. So let's try together before we have to cry together. It's too soon to die together. I'm just a victim of comfort. Got no one else to blame. Just a victim of comfort. Connoisseur of pain. Victims of comfort. Got no one else to blame. Just a victim of comfort. Brian Shane.
So I invite us all to take a moment to breathe together, to fill your body with breath, knowing that you breathe with this beloved community across the distance. And as we honor our earth today, I invite you to hear the words of our poem, The Thines and Thous, as directed to the earth itself. Thou art the song of my heart in the morning. Thou art the dawn of truth in my soul. Thou art the dew of the roses adorning. Thou art the woven whole. Thine is the grace to be steadfast in danger. Thine is the peace that none can destroy. Thine is the face of the need-driven stranger. Thine are the wings of joy. Thou art the deep, to the deep in me calling. Thou art a lamp where my feet shall tread. Thy way is steep past the peril of falling. Thou art my daily bread. Thine be the praise of my spirit uplifted. Thou art the sea to each flowing stream. Thine be the days that are gathered and sifted. Thou art the deathless dream.
Each week, we light our flaming chalice, the symbol of our free faith, a light of welcome, a light of hope, a light of peace, a light of love. We join hundreds of other Unitarian Universalists lighting chalices today in homes and in virtual worship services, reminding us that we are connected to one another and to a larger community of faith and love. If you have a chalice nearby, we invite you to light it with us as I offer you this call to worship from Margaret Kipe. As surely as we belong to this universe, we belong together. We join here to transcend the isolated self, to reconnect, to know ourselves, to be at home here on the earth, under the stars, linked with each other. Come, let us worship together. And now I would like to invite Tom von Alten to share a reflection on behalf of the Climate Action Team and our coming Earth Month 2020.
Thank you, Mary Beth. Joseph Campbell once defined a midlife crisis as when you've climbed the ladder and you realize it was against the wrong wall. My mother was born 101 years ago today, the 9th child on a farm in the middle of Wisconsin. It was the middle of a pandemic. If the flu touched her family back then, I didn't hear about it. My oldest brother was born during World War II, and I arrived in what turned out to be the very center of the baby boom, the youngest of 6 children. Here I am at age 3, standing on my own 2 feet with 2 of my 5 siblings. When the first Earth Day rolled around, I was a freshman in high school, and I could not imagine what I might have to say about it 50 years later. This is our 1971 passport photos. Half a century later from these, I don't know what to say about my hair. I was working toward a ponytail. I moved from the Catechism to Tolkien, from Aldo Leopold to Edward Abbey. I moved out of the city, found a small university with big sky around it, changed majors from art and architecture to ecology, did not get into the Forest Service, became a bicycle mechanic, ran a business, and then looked for a career in alternative energy. I realized I'd have to have an engineering degree to do the kind of work I had in mind. In another round of higher education, when mutually assured destruction seemed a bigger threat than limits to growth, my ladder got moved from the saving the planet wall to engineering computer peripherals. I might be getting around to my midlife crisis a bit late. I took the personal responsibility to live lightly to heart. From parents raised during the Depression, frugality, deferred gratification, and all things in moderation became lifelong habits. Good for me, but not good enough. Our culture has acquired self-destructive habits. We've survived and accomplished great things by competing with one another. Crisis brings opportunity. This crisis could make a greatest generation, recognizing a goal we share and working together. We have the opportunity to overcome a deadly pandemic, which we will do one way or another. Then the much harder, much longer task, save the planet from the catastrophic climate change that is underway. The longest journeys are all made of small steps. The Climate Action Team has been working for a couple of years now to get your attention, to help you learn more about the predicament we're in, to suggest ways we can walk together on this long journey. This month, 50 years after the first Earth Day, we have programs, ideas, something to do every day. There's a lot to do. We can't do it all at once. We can't do it alone. We can get started. There's a story about a hurricane coming, the people in its path. A woman was evacuating her family, offered her neighbor a ride. He said, no thanks. He was a man of great faith, and he was confident God would provide. Suit yourself, she said, and headed north to higher ground. The storm did come. The wind brought havoc. The rain poured down. The floodwaters rose. A county search and rescue team came by in a boat. The man looked out from his second-story window and waved them off. God will provide, he said cheerfully. Another night of wind and rain. By morning, the water was up above the eaves. The man had climbed onto his roof, but was still strong in his faith. A National Guard helicopter came to rescue him. No, no, he cried. I'm not worried. God will provide. At that point, the clouds parted. And wouldn't you know it, God stuck their head out and their voice boomed out over the storm in the helicopter. I sent your neighbor with a truck. I sent search and rescue. Then I sent the National Guard. You need to be part of the solution. We've seen the glaciers disappearing. Drought is spreading. Insect-borne diseases are coming up from the tropics. We keep setting records for the hottest year ever. The ocean is rising. Rainforests are starting to burn. It's time to participate in our rescue and get in the boat.
I invite our children to come a little closer to your screens for our time for all ages. This morning, we are using a Wonder board, which is just like the Wonder box we use in our RE spaces, and it's going to help us ask questions. I wonder what is on our Wonder board this morning. A tree. I wonder what is special about this tree. Who lives in this tree? I wonder, what does this tree need to survive? Our story this morning by Lynn Gardner is about sustaining the tree of life. The tree stood in the middle of the village. Its trunk was so large that it took 6 animals holding paws to reach all the way around it. The roots were strong and wide, and its branches gave shelter from the rain and shade from the summer sun. Its fruits were juicy and sweet and plentiful. The animals of the village loved the tree. Children played under it and climbed its lowest branches. Young animals knew that if you whispered your dreams to the tree, they were more than likely to come true. Animals who proclaimed their friendship and love underneath it found their relationships to be nourishing, and elders discovered their sweetest memories could be counted on when they were near the great tree. The tree had been a witness to so much, and when the breezes blew through the leaves, One could hear the echoes of generations, laughter, conversations, dreams, prayers, and songs. Rabbits lived in the burrows under the roots. Squirrels and monkeys liked to climb its branches, and bats and birds flew in to eat the abundant fruit. The tree seemed to buzz with life. One day, a traveling merchant arrived in the village. He rested in the shade and ate 2 pieces of the delicious fruit. This fruit is incredible! I would love to have some and sell it in the next villages that I visit. This will make me lots of money. Who owns this tree? A villager replied, "Nobody owns this tree. If anything, we belong to it." Well then, if no one owns the tree, then no one will mind if I pick fruit and take as much as I can sell, said the merchant as he grabbed as much fruit as he could off of the tree. "I mind," said the villager, "and today I'm the keeper of the tree." "What do you mean, keeper of the tree? What is that?" "Well, here in the village, we each take our turn being here with the tree. We could never own it. We are here as protectors, as sustainers." The merchant scoffed. "That's ridiculous. The tree doesn't need you. You could just take what you need, take what you want. The tree is going to continue." The villager could not be persuaded. "Sir, the tree is not like that. We don't come here to take from it, even though we receive much from it. We are keepers of this tree because this is where we are most nourished. This is where some of our most precious memories are. This is where we remember who we want to become." The merchant sat for a while in the shade, thinking about all these ideas that felt new and honestly challenging. As the sun went down, he picked up his bag and moved out of town, whistling a song he hadn't thought of in years. On his way, he shared a smile with each animal that he met, and his heart felt strangely light and joyful. And the animals of the village, they continued to sustain the tree of life, to care for one another and to share their gifts with grace and gratitude. May it be so for each of us. So I wonder what the merchant learned from the villager. How might his behavior change? How might the things that are important to him change? I wonder what role each of the animals has in helping the tree flourish. How do all the squirrels and rabbits and bats help? I wonder what role you have in helping nature and the tree of life flourish. How can you contribute? Let us join together in singing our hymn, "Where the Green Will Rise Again."
and nurture them. There the green will rise again. Hands and minds with vision play. People with a sense of wonder, carrying lives that do not squander. Plans for futures to sustain. So we let earth green again. Where the green will rise again. When God's world was peace and healing, common cause and common feeling, love will make us her domain. So the green will rise again.
The first invitation I offered this morning was to treat everything and everyone, alive or not, with reverence, for they all contain seeds of great goodness. This invitation came to me when I was talking to a friend of mine recently, a friend who is also a UU intern on the path to ministry, dealing with COVID-19 and all the rapid changes and grief that this time has brought to us. And in our conversation, we came around to the question of evil. My friend said that they've come to understand that evil begins with a lie. I heartily agreed. And I thought about a recent quote I'd heard from Dina Gilio Whitaker, the author of As Long as Grass Grows, the Indigenous Fight for Environmental Justice from Colonization to Standing Rock. She said that Indigenous people have always regarded the destruction of a habitat as a kind of genocide. So I posited to my friend that the lie at the root of evil is objectifying things that are not objects. The lie that a tree is an object leads to clear-cutting a forest. The lie that a person is an object leads to sexual misconduct, unjust labor conditions, etc. But then my friend proposed that nothing is an object. What if nothing is an object? Aha, object itself is the lie. We came to agree. But then I realized how radical it would be for me to live into this truth. Because if object itself is the lie, that means not just every being, but every single thing has a soul. Even though I believe objectification is a great evil, since I am surrounded by what I believe to be objects, I still practice objectification throughout most of my day. But what if object itself is the lie? Regardless of what we believe about soul, about spirit, I suspect we can all benefit from practicing gentle, respectful relationship with every little thing that surrounds us, no matter its state of repair or disrepair, with equal regard for all. And so I invite you to experiment with me this week. Finn, you can sit here quietly or you can go over there.
I'm not even saying anything. I'm just moving my mouth.
Yeah, that's distracting. We're not going to do distracting things during worship.
That's not distracting.
Let us move through our little pieces of the world as if nothing around us is an object, but everything around us has a soul, a seed, a potential for transformative power that is in it and has been in it all through the efforts of human control. Whether they have been gentle, formed with the care of an artisan, or violent, the product of a clear-cut forest. What if we tried touching our coffee cup gently, offering gratitude to the doorknob, the metal pan that cooks our food, as well as our pets, our children, and the flowers in our yard? I have a feeling if we did this, we would find ourselves more satisfied and in need of less stuff. I also believe we would be more readily able to recognize the lie that is objectification whenever it arises in ourselves, our media, or our society. And with this deep recognition, we would be better prepared to combat racism and corporate greed when it arises within our spheres of influence. This is my first invitation. Let nothing be an object, and everything around you be an invitation towards deep respect. May it be so, and blessed be. Now, Sarah will introduce our offering.
One of the ways that we can practice that invitation to treat everything as sacred is through our giving, is through that long-held spiritual practice of generosity. Particularly now when we give, it feels more vital. The thing that we can do when there is little else that we can do in this time of isolation and global pandemic. And so just as we do every week, we take up an offering to give gifts that will help sustain this fellowship and all of our ministries and help the ministry of our monthly plate partner. This is the final week of our plate partner that is the Jesse Tree of Idaho, working on the front lines to prevent homelessness in our community, which of course we're seeing on the rise in these times of furloughs and economic downturn and uncertainty. The Jesse Tree offers rental assistance grants to those in our community to help them stay in their homes. And they've been real leaders with our city and other partners in this moment. So we're really proud to be partnering with them. You can make a gift by going to our website, boiseuu.org, and clicking give at the top right corner of the website. It's highlighted in a yellow heart there on your screen. When you click give, you'll be taken to the donor screen where you can fill in the contribution that you want to make. If you want our offering to go 75-25 split as we normally do, just put that in the Sunday offering box. If you would like your gift to be split differently or in other ways, then please use the special contributions box and make your notes in the comments. We're also wrapping up our annual giving drive, that time when we make our commitments for the next fiscal year of our community. And so you can also make your pledge online. I just want to thank everyone for the overwhelming responsiveness and generosity of this community. This has really been an incredible drive, particularly given the challenges of these times. So thank you all for all you've done to help make it a success. And there's still time to pledge. You can do that on our website by going to the website homepage and clicking on the graphic that says annual giving drive, which will take you to this page. You can fill out the pledge form there. We're so grateful for all of the ways that you give to this community and to our wider community, because we know that when we give, we are saying yes to the things that matter most to us. Yes to connection and community. Yes to living out our faith in the world. Yes, supporting those in need, welcoming the stranger, and yes, to protecting our precious planet. We thank you for your generosity. The offering will now be received.
what you want to if you want, 'cause you can get anything. I know we've come a long way, we're changing day to day, but tell me, where did the children play? Fresh green grass for your lorry loads, pumping petrol gas, and you make them long and you make them tough, but they just go on, and it seems you can't get off. I know we've come a long way, we're changing day to day, but tell me, where did the children play? The sky, scrapers fill the air. Will you keep on building higher till there's no more room up there? Will you make us laugh? Will you make us cry? Will you tell us when to live? Will you tell us when to die? Changing day to day, but tell me, where do the children play?
The second invitation is, do not be afraid. The healing energy that transforms the world will never die. This is one that I remembered as I was listening this week to that book, As Long as Grass Grows by Dina Gilio Whitaker. In the first chapter, she describes what happened in 2015 at Standing Rock. She describes a movement that was started by just a few women who called themselves water protectors, who held on to the mantra, water is life, and who created a strong culture of peaceful presence and witness in order to protect the most sacred of things, the water in the Missouri River that flows through the land of the Dakota Sioux and on through the rest of our country. This great movement, the largest movement of Indigenous peoples since the 70s, grew gradually, very gradually, as more and more people became aware of what was going on and went to offer their support. But it was those moments when the oil companies and the government supporting those companies came and tried to hurt the people there, the water protectors, that the power and the energy of that movement grew exponentially. Videos went viral, everybody knew what was going on, and more people came and more resources flowed. It reminded me of another time in history when the Roman colonizing power was seeking to keep the Jewish people under a strict rule of law. When one rabbi, teacher, visionary was tortured to death in an effort to put an end to the revolutionary ideas he was spreading. about the common sharing of wealth, and a joy that could be found outside of obedience to empire. After this leader, this revolutionary, this spiritual teacher was put to death, a few women gathered and discovered a deep, enduring spark, which inspired them to run to their friends and say, "He's alive." These ideas began to spread like wildfire, and pretty soon people in communities far and wide throughout that area who had never met the teacher in his earthly life were participating in pacifist resistance towards that colonizing power. The crucifixion only magnified the effect of the Christian movement.
I want to move to this way so I can see this better.
And though the trappings of Christianity have been used to manipulate, dominate, and control, the liberating, regenerative power continues to show up anywhere, everywhere, when people hone into a certain fearlessness that comes from a deep understanding of the nature of this earth and its healing energy. This fearless energy is present in the amazing work being done right now by Indigenous women from Canada to South America. As we learned in the beautiful film our climate action team shared last week, The Condor and the Eagle. These women and their allies know they act in concert with the deep goodness of the universe. And that transformative power they invoke cannot be destroyed. It only grows. It can't be killed. Any efforts to destroy it only magnify it, only make it stronger. We can be fearless in the face of domination, in the face of evil, because when people try to engage that lie of objectification and they destroy or manipulate pieces of this world, they only sever themselves from a great transformative power that can never die. And so my second invitation is, do not be afraid. There is no basis for fear. The power that transforms everything for the better will never die. It will only grow stronger, and we will always be able to tap into it. Amen, and blessed be. Now it is time for us to share our joys and sorrows. You may participate in this time of sharing by typing your own joys and sorrows into the chat box while we watch and listen to Ancient Mother by Robert Gass. Then place your hand on your heart while you read all of our community's joys and sorrows. If you feel so moved, you may sing along with the chant. The words are simple. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. May we find the deep calm beneath the waves. We call to you now in times of storm. May your cleansing rains wash over us. We call to you now in the sorrow of separation, in peace of solitude, in the joy of newness. We call to you now as time stretches out before us, full of possibility for beautiful change. Hold us together in your heart. Hold us in loving embrace. Comfort us and show us the choices we make today to join in compassion, to move forward in joy and possibility, springing ever new, even here, even now. Amen, and blessed be. The third invitation came to me out of my meditation practice, and it is this: do not seek to control the outcome of your healing action, for that divine power is wild, and the small things that we do bear fruit in ways that we will never know. When I think about this divine wildness, I am reminded of a parable that I looked at with my parable study group earlier this spring. The parable of the talents baffled all of us because it has this master in it who we did not like at all. This man splits up his property between his servants when he leaves for their safekeeping, giving more money to the care of the more capable and less to the less capable. The most capable traded with the money they were given and doubled the master's wealth while he was gone, giving it all back to him when he returned. But the one who received the least went and buried the money in the ground, saying when the landowner returned, "Master, I knew that you were a harsh man, reaping where you did not sow and gathering where you did not scatter seed. So I was afraid, and I went and hid your talent in the ground. Here you have what is yours." The landowner doesn't even deny this allegation. He repeats it. "You know that I reap where I did not sow and gather where I did not scatter seed." And he says that to those who have much, more will be given, and to those who have little, even that will be taken away. Oh man, this is a tough one. Bear with me for a moment while I take that one line: you reap where you did not sow and gather where you did not scatter seed. And I set aside all those characters, those human characters stuck in very old-fashioned power relationships.
This is going to get uncomfortable. Your pants are going to get uncomfortable.
And I simply sit with this line: you reap where you do not sow and gather where you did not scatter seed. I have spent a lot more time sitting in meditation lately, and when I do, I invite that compassionate energy of the earth to come to me in the form of wild animals. And it has taken me some time to really regard those animals as wild, and to not picture them somehow as domesticated, behaving like a pet might behave and doing my bidding. But I've had to let go of that tendency towards domestication. Let go of the objectification, if you will, because it never works. It turns out things just get fuzzier and more vague the more I try to control what I am seeing. So, as I accept these spirits as wild, I see them, the condor especially, come and eat dead parts of me. And all of a sudden this line, you reap where you did not sow and gather where you did not scatter seed, takes on a completely new meaning. Because the earth and her forces, which I would call divine, are actually completely and utterly wild. When I address those words towards our ancient mother, the great Mother Earth, you reap where you did not sow and gather where you did not scatter seed, I am filled with gratitude. And I look back at the parables and Jesus' other sayings and wonder if he wasn't trying to get his agrarian culture stuck in a system of domination to free itself and the earth by behaving more like hunter-gatherers in harmony, trusting the earth to provide. Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow, they neither toil nor spin. Wild beings reap where they do not sow, and gather where they have not scattered seed. And they support the entire regeneration of the earth. Who cares who made the pollen that rests on the bee's feet? It must move on. It must go elsewhere if it is to have its regenerative power. Who cares why an animal dies at the bottom of a canyon? The condor eats it anyway. Takes the regenerative power of its bones, its protein, off into the sky. The great spirit of this earth is wild and utterly uncontrollable. And so my third invitation is to join me in giving up control over what happens with our gifts. This does not mean that we give up our personal power. We must keep our will towards healing and our ability to set boundaries when harm is being done. But this earth has a healing power that is so much bigger than us. And I believe it is time for us to use our will, our personal power, not to be directors of our own little personal story, but to join ourselves as participants in a bigger healing story. And this, of course, is tied into not being afraid. Knowing nothing can kill that ever-flowing healing energy. And so we can open our hands to the wild winds of change because our gifts are going to be taken and scattered by an earth who knows far more about healing than we will ever know. What if every once in a while we behaved less like farmers and more like cottonwood trees?
Not like cottonwood tree.
Scattering our gifts carelessly to the wind, trusting the wild earth to take what we have to where it needs to go. We don't know what the implications of our actions will be. All we can do is offer ourselves to that wild energy that transforms everything towards healing, towards wholeness, towards truth. And so these are my three invitations. 1, to revere every single thing down to the smallest object in our home. Nothing is an object. Regard everything knowing it has a seed of transformative goodness within it. 2, do not be afraid. Nothing will kill that seed. We will always be held by something or someone magnificent, and that healing power will only get stronger if anyone tries to destroy it. And 3, give up control. We don't know where and how the seeds that we offer to this world will bear fruit. Let us open our hands and let the wild winds of divine healing energy sweep our seeds away into the unknown. May it be so. Amen, and blessed be. Please join me in our final hymn, Turning of the World, with this video prepared for us by Jim and Jean Strathdee. Let us sing out wherever we are, with no care for who hears us.
Let us sing this song for the turning of the world, that we may turn as one. With every voice, every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our turning. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along. With every voice, every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our turning. Let us sing this song for the healing of the world, that we may heal as one. With every voice, every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our healing. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along. With every voice, every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our healing. Let us sing this song for the loving of the world, that we may love as one. With every voice, every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our loving. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along. With every voice, every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our loving.
As we extinguish our chalices this morning, let us go back into our daily lives, to be gentle to everyone and everything, to be fearless, knowing the healing power of this universe can never be destroyed, and to give in to wildness. Let us not try to reap what we have sown, but simply let go of our own gifts, moving from within us into the world, and then watch in wonder as they help to heal this wonderful planet. Thank you for worshiping with us today. Blessed be.